Okay, we are on. I'm trying to get the video, ne?
Okay.
But we are on Opinionated Podcast, Bazalwane. So, hey, this one, unfortunately, you are gonna. I don't know why you guys don't like me on this podcast, but for some reason you are following me. Right? You don't like me. You are following me. You are just following me so that you can swear at me every day. I'm still gonna be opinionated. This is the Opinionated Podcast for a reason. Yauri, hey. You beat her divorcee, and then what? And then what? Angithi ukundile. Angithi ukundile. Kodwa ungadream. Akufanelanga ukuthi udream.
Akufanelanga ukuthi udream. It's written in the book of Leviticus.
Ungadream. So angithi ungifollowile. Ungangithuki. It is written in the book of Leviticus. Ufollowa mina. Consuming content ungangithuki. Ne? Iletha amadimoni leyo nto leyo. Iletha amadimoni. Ile nto iletha amadimoni. Leyo ukuthi ungithuke. Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, cool. Where is it? We're going to be talking about... Wait, guys, I'm going to give you my full attention now. This is so chilled. We're going to be talking about... this one. Anyway, guys, I did welcome you, ne? Welcome to Opinionated Podcast, ne? I know you're going to love me and hate me and love me and hate me. You're going to have a complicated relationship with me on this one, but enjoy the ride anyway. So today, we're going to be talking about two things. Number one, umfundisi. You want to play the video first before we tell them about what we want to tell them about?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Take a look at the video.
Okay.
Glory to God. Mnikana ma lehiya. Hlala uveta kwangekhathi esontweni. Sishumayele njani? You must be what? You must be born again. Bakahle bogaru abavele bakhulu. Toy kahle nante esontweni. Ugcoka into lengaka. So ugcoka ivezi ithanga lengaka lo sisi. So when they saw ngibuka abazalwane ngiyasho manje ngibuka abazalwane indodana sebalele. Laba senze ba prophet banjani Laba senze ba prophet banani banjani gani wende njani wena phela umprofeti uyini umprofeti ungumuntu usemtimbeni uyindodza lokulinga emadodza kuyamlinga umprofeti lokuthandwa ngamadodza nemprofeti wenda njani uyakuthatha so ukwenda njani uyasuka lapho uyasola asendluleni hawu babe wesiso bathi babe wende njani awati uthi suka umuntu wathi wadla ba look at your neighbor, say neighbor
buka makatsan baki
thani sisenkonzweni ekuhlabele Boa makelani thani neighbor
baki
sisenkonzweni ekuhlabele. Glory to God. I said glory to God. This is Bible. They overcame him by the word of their testimony and by the blood of the Lamb. Nyalo nje seng overcome because I testify. I've already overcome. I testified. Once you testify, you overcome. And the blood of the Lamb confirms it.
So as you heard, Bazalwane, ne? That's the video of Mfundisi. Elerato, welcome by the way. Ghosti.
Thank you.
The people love you, some hate you.
Hey, we have a love-hate relationship.
And about you are the young one. They don't know that it's just your voice which is young.
Don't judge by the voice.
Ne?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Mfundisi who was reprimanding a girl child, saying that the girl child must hlala kahle because she was sitting inappropriately in the church. And I did say that I'm going to come back with what I think about it. And yeah, you know, Musori, the gloves are off. It's me and you, Sister Lera Town.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk because in my opinion, the first part of the video where Mfundisi is saying, okay, let's start here. Is Mfundisi right or is he wrong to reprimand somebody for not dressing appropriately and sitting appropriately in the church?
Mfundisi is right.
Eh?
Mfundisi is right.
It's giving what would Jesus do?
Mfundisi is right and hitting the nail on the head. That's what it is.
Why? Why you say Mfundisi is right, my sister?
If he's seeing something that is disturbing him while he's busy delivering the word of God, is he not supposed to remove the distraction that is distracting him
Okay.
to get to the destination that he needs to reach?
Which is the message of
Which
the
is
Lord?
the message of the Lord.
All right. So I saw some people saying, what would Jesus do? Ne? Because Jesus somewhere, he was angry, he came with a whip and he was whipping everybody's butt there in the church. Is it butt? I don't know what Jesus was whipping, but he was whipping something, right? And he said that my father's house is not a marketplace.
Okay.
So I get the part where Mfundisi must reprimand me, na personally. Ne? But my issue, you see the first part when Mfundisi says, "Hlala kahle esontweni," sit well in the church. Okay, sharp. You told me to sit well in the church. I have sat well in the church. It is done. It is finished. So we had a sermon. We had a message for today. And the message for today is for us to preach about we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. I think that's something that he spoke about at the end of that. Ne? Or unless if maybe he just deviated. But mina as perseverance, I bath, I leave my house, I come to church to hear the word of God. The minute Mfundisi sees a distraction, he's deviating now. We are talking about that distraction that he's seen in the church. Okay. And for me, I feel like in as much as you guys are saying, no, Mfundisi must call people to order, right? Calling people to order is one thing. But continuing with what he's doing, it's humiliation now to this child.
Okay. I don't think it was humiliation. The pastor was trying to explain further what was distracting him because there's other people in the church that are not in the view of this lady. So he's merely explaining that as much as there's a recording within that church, in that recording, we cannot see what he's referring to. So he's furthermore explaining what he is seeing and how that is affecting him, and that should be avoided by any other person within the church going forward.
Okay, so now, after the pastor has reprimanded and made us see a clear vision of what is actually
The
in front of
pastor
him,
reprimanded and furthermore explained
why he's reprimanding.
why he's reprimanding what is happening within that setting.
So my sister, you mean to tell me that the pastor saying, "Sishumayela kanjani," with amatanga, nanguveze amatanga, like the thighs are showing.
Because the pastor starts saying that you must sit properly, right? So
And then he said, give her a cloth for her to cover up.
yes.
Yeah.
So we're not really understanding what he means by sit properly. You may be wearing a long dress and your legs are open. You may be distracting him in another way. So he's explaining that, okay, this is what I'm seeing and this is what I'm experiencing and I'm going to call it out.
Okay.
Yes, he's not trying to humiliate it. He's just furthermore explaining.
So Mara, my sister, ne, with the pastor further explaining what he's seeing, and he goes, because with me, he honestly did not have. I mean, this pastor has got 2 bodyguards. These 2 bodyguards are there to guard the pastor, ne? You mean to tell me that a church can afford bodyguards or they are armor bearers? Maybe they are armor bearers. They're not bodyguards, because armor bearers are bodyguards. Somehow their jobs cross. But they can't afford ushers to actually go and call that person to order. Because first of all, we don't even know, or whether the pastor knows or not, is this person coming to church for the first time? Does she even know how Bazalwane behave in this church? Or does she know anything about that? The pastor is just calling somebody out and the entire sermon is about that person. Is that even right? When if it was your first time, yes, you are saying that the pastor is reprimanding and he's going ahead and just breaking down what he's actually seeing in front of him. Ne? I'm going to get to the other part where I feel like he's a pervert. Ne? The part where he's further explaining what is going on. You mean to tell me that there are no ushers in the church? What is the job of the ushers then if the ushers can't, after nigging her here, tell her how things are done in the church? Because I attended a church where you are not allowed to wear something which comes above your knees. If you're going to wear something that comes above your knees, you must cover up with a cloth. And you know some people even puke on those cloths. Ne? And then you must not show your armpits. You must not show your cleavage. Ne? And they also say that dress appropriately. And when they say dress appropriately, you will see with the people. So that's part of the announcement to say, this is how we dress in this church. If you're not dressed in this manner, we're going to cover them up. Does this person that the pastor is now, in my words, I can't not to you, he's further explaining, in my words, he's humiliating. Does the pastor, did they explain to her beforehand, or this is how we do things in the church, or it doesn't matter?
Okay, that we don't know. We don't have the background story of that. But what I can say based on that interaction is that maybe the pastor has been seeing this a number of times within the congregation, and now he's choosing to voice this out. But it is directed at one person.
Okay. So that part, sharp, we're covered. Where he's directing it at one person because he wants to set an example. And I can tell you that he was proud of setting that example because that video is actually coming from the pastor's page himself, right? Then the second part is the part where he's saying, we as pastors, we are also flesh, things that please men. They like literally for me, I feel like he's now sexualizing that girl. Things that please men also please us as pastors. And then the next thing I'll be taking. He even gave a mic to another guy there saying, ha! Mfundisi, you tata because they're showing you thighs. So how is Mfundisi behaving in a mall where thighs are out? Is he taking? Or this thing of us not having self-control is only applicable when you enter the church. And then outside the church, you now apply you don't have to apply self-control in the church. Because the thigh that he's seeing in the church that he's saying is our tata. He's going to tata outside because the thigh is showing. Is that what he's teaching his congregants?
That's not what he's teaching his congregants. I think you are taking it too far.
Where? Far where? Bring it here. We're not let's talk.
I think you are taking it too far because he is merely reprimanding what he's seeing there in front of him.
Yes.
And we cannot account for the pastor's actions and whatever he does with the outside.
But is it right for him to say that sitau tata? That is scary for girl children in the church. My sister, no.
Hey, yeah, by the way, hi everybody.
Hi, Ghosty.
This is me, the one that has been demoted.
I know you are fired, my sister. The people don't want you anymore.
They don't want me. Now I've been replaced by someone, Lerato. I get you, Lerato, ne? But I also get Madam Speaker as well. Because where is self-control? Because that's what the Bible teaches. And then again, yes, that is the responsibility of either Mamuruti or the usher or someone close to the pastor. But for him to hold the microphone and say all those things that he said, I think it's uncalled for. Because firstly, a church, like when Jesus came on earth, he said that I am here for those ones that are sick, not the healed ones. So meaning that person that is there, it might be their first time coming there. Maybe let's just make an example. It might be a prostitute. They were just passing by the street and they're like, yo, let me get in. Do you think the prostitute will return to church after that message? After the whole 3 minutes of the pastor saying that? And what about also the women that might actually be triggered by that statement? Because we've got women that are harassed on the street simply because they are wearing short things. And it seems like that's what Pastor Naye agrees with.
Okay, we are all raised with morals.
No, we are not.
And how we should behave, right?
Okay.
For example, when you go to funerals in certain places, we are told it's like an unspoken rule that most females know.
Okay.
I think the pastor may be coming from that point of view.
Me, Nane, I feel like for somebody who is a person who is in the public, I know that this is going to come across as me. But what does the gossip blogger say on YouTube I do? They say I contradict myself. This is going to come across as me contradicting myself because they're going to say, that's so rich coming from you. Mara, I feel like if you're going to be a public figure like that and you're going to be leading by example, you can't be that reckless with words to a point where you are breaking somebody down that you don't even know. If it's somebody that you've known in your church for the longest time and you are reprimanding them because you've been seeing that they've been doing something like this for the longest time, it's understandable. But if it's somebody that you don't even know, that they don't even know how the rules are in the church, and you're going to take an entire 3 minutes to be breaking them down into smaller pieces and just humiliating them even more without knowing why they're dressed the way they're dressed. That's very reckless for a man of God. And also what he's insinuating, what is he teaching the boy children in the church? Is he teaching them that when somebody's wearing short stuff, even outside the church, because now we're talking self-control, okay? Is he teaching them that when people are wearing short stuff outside the church, because women are supposed to dress a certain way, sit out tata, we will take. Because the boy children who are listening there and all the men who are there, he's saying that we are also human beings. We also have feelings, meaning that if you're going to be dressing like this, you are now, you are what do you call it? You are luring me on, like the English word ran away.
Lure.
Yeah, you are luring me on. Ne?
I think that's the correct.
That's the word, ne? So, meaning that everybody who is wearing short stuff, because I want to understand, or is there a main switch where you switch and say, at the church, this way, when you are dressed like this, you are turning me on. But outside the church, when I'm in the mall, I will switch on my self-control and I will not tata. Because actually you are saying in the church, because this one is dressed like this, sit out tata, and then you will say, Mfundisi, hey, prophet. What are you teaching the boy children in the church?
Okay, you have a point, but I think we are taking it too far. The pastor was merely just calling out what he's seeing. He's not cutting the corners.
So what he's seeing, Lele Ratone, I understand that part, where he's saying that cover her up, she's wearing short, like you are saying. When you are saying, no, he was trying to explain to everybody else who's not viewing, like us, the viewers at home, us who must touch the screen. He's explaining to us that this is how she's dressed. But now when you further say, when you are dressed like that, Mina, I will be tempted, Mina Nami, I'm living in flesh, that one, I don't know between me and the pastor who is taking it too far.
He didn't mean it in its actual sense.
How do you know, my sister? Because you were not there. What if? So are you saying to me that if people continue...
Because he's a man of God. He'll never do anything to endanger others.
But he just said with his own mouth that God gave him, that people who are dressing like must start and Mfundisi did 1, 2, 3. Then what is he saying? Is that worth taking? Is that worth taking? Is that takeable? So meaning you will take on the streets as well. So call the man of God to order, man of God. Reprimanding is one thing. If you know that you can't reprimand and stick to what Jesus Christ would do, because we can't say what would Jesus Christ was never a perv. He was never going to undress somebody and say, things are on the outside. For sure, Jesus Christ was even a virgin. So he would never, so don't be coming here and saying, what would Jesus Christ do? What would Jesus Christ would never even think of tatting. The way Mfundisi is saying, sit out tat. The problem is you don't call your pastors to order.
All right, can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
You were once full-time on pulpit, right?
Come for me, my sister.
So if here is a guy coming with a 6-pack and you are there preaching, do you then separate yourself from the spirit to the flesh, or, Again, we're talking also about the self-control, but
Yes.
would you be able to concentrate on the message when the guy is there with 6-packs?
I think maybe it's because 6-packs are not my thing. Then I can't really relate to what you are asking. But I feel like if a person is walking in however way that they're dressed, like I'm saying that the church that I was in or the church that I'm in, there's a code. There's how you dress appropriately. Those who see them walking in, they would then cover them. So the covering part, remember that part we are addressing to say, where are the ushers to actually reprimand this child or cover that child up? And we are saying, no, the pastors were not seeing because they're at the back. Now the Mfundisi has already said, here, give her a cloth. And then what? So Mfundisi, we bathed, we put on makeup to come to a church for you to tell us about how thirsty you are. We must listen to you telling us, Urwena, is it our tata?
So in your opinion, you think the pastor took it too far?
He took it too far.
It should have just ended at the first sentence.
I feel like the pastor, next time, Mfundisi, and he's a doctor, prophet. I don't even know how those He's a doctor, prophet, that guy. An entire doctor, prophet. He must know when to draw the line. He must not know when not to make people uncomfortable. He must know when not to humiliate people and try to show us as the people of the internet that he's capable. Because in as much as he thought he was doing what Jesus would do, Jesus was never a pervert. And you insinuating that somebody is showing you things so that you can take, it's you being a pervert. Because you don't know why they came in that state to begin with. Now that's my final word.
Okay. Your word against mine.
My sister, today I can really feel you can't agree with me and you're trying your level best not to agree with me. That's why you are not loud.
Because I'm getting the point that the pastor is coming from, right? The pastor was maybe calling out what was there, right? That was his perspective at that time.
So the pastors must continue.
I'm not saying pastors should continue, but Liana going forward, he must just...
Who, the pastor?
Yeah, he must say, he must not just throw words around in that manner and in that way. He must speak and be heard, but he doesn't need to put it that way. Yes. As a pastor, you need to speak and be heard, but you don't have to go on and on about it to that extent. Now that you are breaking it down like that, I understand the perspective that you are coming from.
My take is that in a country where we have pastors that have been accused of rape, you can't play with words recklessly like that and just say sizothatha. You are basically saying because of how you guys dress at work, at church. So I don't think he thought about what he was saying, and also he could have easily, remember, if his pants were torn, they were going to go to his ear and whisper and tell him that his pants have been torn. He could have done the same, call one usher and whisper, and the usher takes care of it.
But I get where you're coming from.
Had he gone as far as saying it himself, he could have just said that and moved on. There was no need for him to continue saying what he was saying.
True, but the need may look at it from this perspective, may come from maybe seeing this countless times within the congregation. Maybe the ushers were reprimanded and they are not coming to the party. Maybe the ushers were reprimanded and they are not coming to the party.
Okay, we can only work with what we saw, ne? And based on what we saw, some of us are not happy with the pastors, some of us we do understand, but this would not be called Opinionated Podcast if we didn't have different opinion. And on my side, I think I'm done with this pastor. My sister, is there anybody, you are done?
I think we are, but then again, Lerato, don't make excuses for him.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses for him.
Did he pay you? Are you bribed, my sister?
You were there at church.
Definitely, I'm not bribed. I'm just looking at it from his perspective.
Okay.
But then we've also heard that pastors, they get horny when they are preaching. There's one pastor that actually...
My sister, you are fired. There goes your space in heaven. That's like that is vacant. Again.
We are putting a camping tent for you outside of heaven.
Oh, Jesus. Hey guys, with that being said, we're done now for this one. You leave your comment down below and tell us what you think. Remember, this is Opinionated Podcast, okay? So we are allowed to have different opinions. Tell us what you think about this pastor and how he reprimanded this child, or how, okay, I'll say child because he's a papa, all right? How papa reprimanded his child, and whether it's humiliation according to you or it's just him correcting the thingy. Is that how Jesus would do it? Or do you feel like the pastor has got pervert vibes? Now with
but we can't use the "what would Jesus do" line.
That's what people have been saying on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Because they're saying, what would Jesus do? Which probably for me, like the first part is what would Jesus do? But the rest, Jesus would never. So, Mtaga Maria, don't you dare accuse Mtaga Maria to behave in the way that pastor behaved. Because there's no way. The one of the stepson of Joseph. Is it Joseph, the stepfather? He would never do that. We're done.